Do you need suspension inside of a wheelchair wheel? Well, this is my 4-week review on loop wheels, and hopefully I can give you a little bit more of an insight into whether you need to have a look at these wheels yourself. So who are they for? Well, there's two people that it might be for. One, it's people using power attachments on their wheelchair. And if you're in that group, I would say you 100% need to look at these wheels. With the additional speed that we do when we're on a power adaptation, you really do need something that's helping kind of keep the vibration to a minimum. And that's where these wheels absolutely come into their own. But if you're in the second group, which is people who are just manual wheelchair users and pushing, I wouldn't discount them either. The feeling of them might be slightly more subtle if you're going at lower speeds, but it's definitely still there. And one of the easiest ways to spot this is if you use the loop wheels for a set amount of time and then go back to another set of wheels, you really notice a difference. So it can be really something that's subtle, but once it's gone, you really miss it. So as I've said before in a previous video, I had the classics and they were a good wheelchair wheel, but they were quite heavy and they were kind of at the top end of what would be comfortable for somebody to move in and out the car every single day. What I like about the new loop wheels is that they're probably about half the weight. They're either half the weight or they feel like they're half the weight. And it does make a huge difference as to whether you're going to use these wheels on a daily basis. So now you're getting all of the benefits of the suspension, but you're not having to have such a big payoff in terms of the weight of the wheel. And it's important to say that the wheels come with 3 different suspension levels that you can get. If you're going to be going really fast with these wheels, you want a slightly harder suspension. If you're just going to be using them for manual wheelchair use, you can go for softer. But once you've picked that level, it is set. And you want it to be set, because if it was adjustable, anytime there's anything adjustable on a wheelchair, it means that you've got to keep tightening it up and it has room to kind of to get loose. So you don't want that. You want it to be solid. And this is where the trial actually is really good, because for £35 you can try the wheels for 2 weeks. So not only do you get a chance to compare them against your normal wheels, you'll also be able to see the different softness and go, do I want it slightly softer than this? Do I want it slightly harder than this? Now the ones I've got, which is the Urban, and I believe I've got them in quite a hard setting in the suspension, I still noticed that when I was going around corners on the Triride, you can feel the center of the weight just dipping slightly, and you could feel the wheel taking that, is it lateral force? I'm going to say lateral force, but it's taking some of that energy out of the turn. Now the biggest problem I had with using these wasn't actually to do with the loop wheels. It was to do with the fact that I've recently upgraded and put a new Triride on a sub 4 RGK. Now a sub 4 RGK is stupidly light. It's amazingly light. But the problem is that in terms of physics, I ended up looking like Donkey Kong from Mario Kart, because my mass was all completely above the chair. So I'm basically sitting top heavy. Like, the chair is so light and I am a lot heavier than the chair. So when you go to turn, any kind of quick turning movements, the chair naturally wants to tip over. So you have to shed a lot of speed before doing any turns. But what I found with the loop wheels is the little bit of extra weight that they have to them actually helped make me feel a little bit more planted in the chair. And 2, when I did do a turn, that slight taking of the energy and the slight compression really helped to feel like I wasn't going to tip completely over, because it was able to take some of that energy out. I still feel like the Triride on a sub 4 at certain speeds becomes so sketchy. I thought it was a good idea, put a really light wheelchair and a really powerful adaptation in the front and it will go like a rocket. Yes, it does, but then you've got to be really careful, because physics is physics. and if you turn too quickly at too much of a speed, you're out one side. I kind of instinctively felt like I wanted to put my hand out the other side to counterbalance it. So I couldn't recommend these more highly for anyone that's using a power adaptation, because it's doing a couple of things. One, it's stopping the vibrations, but it's also taking some of the energy out of that kind of that sideways movement, that without that you could just literally go straight out to the side. For manual wheelchair users, I've noticed, I mean, I've only been using them for 4 weeks, but I have noticed that I feel less fatigued when I go over places that are bumpy and the ground is horrible. So you just feel like pushing is that little bit easier. I mean, pushing inevitably is never easy anyway, but you just feel like it is giving you a little bit more support over rough ground. I also absolutely love the push rims that are on this one. They're really fat and chunky, and I think it's a happy accident, but we've just found a hand rim that really fits my hand well, and it feels solid, so it gives me confidence when I'm pushing the chair. Like, the rest of the chair is so light, but I've got this nice chunky hand rim, and I'm, you know, and it's got the texture on the top, the rubber texture, so I'm able to, you know, really push, and I really feel like I'm in control of the chair. So that's something to consider, is looking at the push rim options. Even if you don't feel like the suspension might be something you'd use, I guarantee you the push rims, and swapping up your push rims for something that absolutely suits you is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. So what did I not like about them? Well, one thing I think they could probably improve on, and it's more of a design thing, is that the center hub of the wheel is quite big. It's smaller than the Classic, and it arguably is more user-friendly now, but it's still quite big to put your hand around. And obviously we will have one hand on our wheelchair and one hand on the wheel to be able to press the quick release and put it in. It's kind of, I would say, at the edge of what most people's hands can actually wrap around. Whether there's a way of looking at how they can improve the grip, even if that hub has to be that size because of the way it's connected, but maybe just, you know, something to give you a little bit more purchase when you're wrapping your hand around that to be able to put it on. But I understand that in order to get the blades on there, they all kind of come into that central hub. So I'm going to be doing another review of these around about the 6-month mark. We've got some really good trips planned, and hopefully we can put them through the paces. But I just wanted to share what it's been like in the first 4 weeks. And would I go back to normal wheels now? Absolutely not. I will, if I just have one pair of these wheels, they are going to be swapped between every wheelchair I have, and they are my go-to wheels for everything. I've also got to know a little bit more about the company, and they're UK based, and it's a family company, and they're really lovely, and they are very, very aware of the price of these items. And yes, there is a bit of a premium price for them, but they are genuinely trying to manufacture them for the most accessible price possible. And when you look at the craftsmanship that's gone into it, you can really, really see the components of this. They're very solid, and what they don't want to do is ever have a failure. So they really are engineered very, very well. I would seriously consider doing the 2-week trial. Just be curious, just have a little look, and try and do the trial when you know that you're going out somewhere and you're going to give them a bit of a test out. It is a subtle difference to start with, but then you realise that actually it's a difference that's happening every single day. It's something that is helping to keep the world around you, which is so inaccessible, slightly more accessible. Love to hear your thoughts and your comments. Please let me know if there's any questions you have specifically about them. I have had some people reach out and ask me how they are privately, but if you've got any questions you want to know about them, drop me a comment. The link for Loop Wheels is actually in the description. And just as a reminder, I'm not actually getting paid for this content, but Loop Wheels did provide me with a pair so I can review and use them. And I'm so glad they did. Thank you to everyone at Loop Wheels. they're really great, and I think when it comes to mobility equipment, it's a very personal thing. You know, this is the way you interact with the world. It has to be right for you. So get curious about that and about other things, and just see what's out there that can make your life a little bit easier today. Yeah, so just done all the editing on the loop wheel video and realised that my wheels are on backwards. So note to self, check the orientation of the wheel before you do the video. Sorry about that.